The S&P 500 daily cloud chart shows price still below the 12 simple moving average in blue and the 65-week EMA in red. And the cloud conversion line is still dropping and fast approaching the 65-week EMA. And the cloud baseline remains flat at that level. And Zigzag has had a couple of higher highs and higher lows the past couple of days. So we'll monitor that. Need 5 in a row like that to get the swing point. If not, then the average true range takes effect. And here's the column with the average true range for yesterday's average true range for was smaller than the previous day's average true range for, so we need at least 4 in a row higher than the previous average true range and to have a chance at the swing point here to the upside. If the 5 in a row fails for higher highs and higher lows. And there's a new ongoing demand line, which for today is at 4103.88. Ignore that level as the market is having trouble with this hover over balloons price display. And the first ongoing supply line to the upside is at 4336.94. Close above that qualifies it for end of day today. Same thing with this demand line down here. And price has been closing above the disqualified sell TDST for the past 2 days. Very good sign. And the price flip to the sell setup count 1 happened yesterday, so the sell setup count 2 will print on a close anywhere above 4137.23, this bar 4 bars back. Concerning is this combo by countdown 12 that's hanging over our head just like this one was here. So price needs to go on the run to the upside to get the royal flush, sell setup count 9, and then eventually the 13. And that will be negated on the 9 end count. And if that does not happen, we get the price flip back to the buy setup count. Then this comes into play, this low here, where the 13 for combo will print in this area below this low. And the fast QQE is bouncing nicely off of that 30 area. It hasn't gone under 30 since March of this year. We won't scroll back. So that was good to see that not hit 30 and go below, and is now bounced nicely. The slow QQE is flat, so it has a good chance eventually to cross above that soon if this fledgling higher high and higher low continues. And the Bollinger Band lower band, channel 3 low, and Stark Band lower band are all right together there. The lowest one is the channel 3 low, 4086.86. And the Stoller Stark Band lower band is at the top, 4092.51, but they're all together right there. And the arc down magnet level is stealthily creeping up. Every day it increases by points, so it's at 3960.35. Could be at 3964 something. End of day today, Fed day on Wednesday the 1st. 2 p.m. Eastern Time, the decision on rates, and then Chair Powell speaks a half hour later. Actually, it looks like this one will be an interesting one to watch. It's almost in contraction. It's right at the center line 50, Anything above that is expansion, and anything below 50 is contraction. And the JOLTS report comes out after that at 10 a.m. So that's right around where it was the last report. So this could be important too if there's something unexpected that comes in higher or lower. And the ATM fast trigger wants to get above oversold 25. It's over it by 0.25 points, 25.25. So that has a tendency to shoot up pretty quick. Even though the price isn't skyrocketing, this can. It's the slow trigger up that we need to pay attention to, and that's slowly turning around and headed up off of the floor here, and the pressure up is still at -2, so we're waiting for a long-term oversold peeler down to indicate that that could possibly start to move up off of the floor in the basement to pressure down. An example, way back here on July 31st, pressure down 102 positive, and pressure up -2 down in the basement, and a new 50% disqualified momentum down printed 41.2310. Get that qualified and confirmed, and there's a disqualified 50% exhaustion down 40.50.66. Does not get qualified and confirmed, it could act as support. And the 50% propulsion is of my own making. It's not sanctioned by DeMarc, and the main one is the 100% momentum down and qualified and confirmed exhaustion down as an example here. Anytime you see that 2 in the parentheses on my charts, that's the 100% momentum and exhaustion down. And I have, for the most part, found the 50% momentum and exhaustion down very useful. And the Shanday momentum indicator is at -37.45. It's reflecting the improvement in the higher lows and higher highs for the past 2 bars. So it had a low here of -48.10, which is quite low. Can go down to -75 at the index level. That's pretty hard to reach, but it has a couple times in the past. And REI moved off of zero neutral and ticked to the upside, and you can see there's a low risk up arrow for REI, but I still wait for DM1 and ROC to make it above their oversold lines. ROC is about to go over, and that's a good indication. It's higher risk to get into the market and buy equities when there's only this level, and this one is still waiting. More times than not, it fails. And DM1 never makes it above oversold, so it's best to wait to get above that. And even then, the DMI plus and minus here would need to be a crossover to the upside of the plus above the minus, but that's way after the buy signal if there's a DM1 crossover above oversold. Bottom line, wait for DM1 to cross above the oversold line at 40 and then take stock of the situation. So now what I will do as we look at all these index levels, mainly the S&P 500, gives us the 50,000 foot view, but I will start scanning now for stocks that have similarities to the S&P 500. So maybe an exhaustion alert up, the low risk up, REI coming off a neutral zero, DM1 about to cross over oversold, ROC oversold, ATM fast, crossing above, oversold. See a hook up on the slow trigger. And stocks that have printed the sequential buy setup 9 end count perfected, things like that. So I look for similar stocks to the S&P 500's situation, and that way I can follow the S&P 500 and know where those stocks are going if they're very similar to the S&P 500. That's what this is all about.